I'd like to introduce Jennifer from Canada, who has multiple sclerosis. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Could you tell us when you first started to notice your MS symptoms?
I probably, I was officially diagnosed in January of 2000, but in hindsight, I probably started noticing it when I was actually a child, in grade 4, actually. From what I've gathered from talking with other people, it seems to be sometimes triggered by a major emotional event or head trauma. I had head trauma and in grade 4, and it wasn't 6 months thereafter that I started getting, I guess you would call them like migraine headaches, like extreme ones, and then it just progressed from there on out, and then the MS really kicked in after an emotional trauma. So I guess I got a double duty on that one.
Mm-hmm. So by the time you were diagnosed, what symptoms did you have?
I was losing my eyesight. I actually kind of scared myself. I was mowing the back lawn of when we were living in a house, and it was very warm. It was the south-facing backyard, and it was probably about 2 in the afternoon, so that's the heat of the day. And I was mowing, and I didn't know that I had an issue, obviously. I didn't know I had MS. I knew there was something wrong. I just didn't know what. And I'm mowing away, and sure enough, all of a sudden, I went absolutely blind. And so I just stumbled back towards the stairs and sat down for a few minutes, and it was in the shade. And not long thereafter, my eyesight came back. So I thought, oh, okay, well, it's back. And so I just continued mowing. And then not long thereafter, then I went to see an ophthalmologist and whatnot, and they weren't sure what was going on. And the doctor thought she said, oh, you have low blood pressure. And it's like, no. Anyway, so I finally went in and I said, no, just send me to a neurologist. And so I think she just did it to basically get me off her back because I was kind of getting on her nerve. And not long there, and I went into the neurologist and I said, listen, I think I have MS. And he's like, okay. So he tested me and he's like, looks pretty promising. I'm going to send you in for an MRI. And sure enough, not long thereafter, I was diagnosed.
And apart from the eyesight, were you suffering with fatigue or bladder problems?
Oh, I've been suffering from fatigue since I was a child. So I figured I just chalked that up to adolescence and hormones and stuff like that. And, and then, of course, I was a young mom and I had a whole lot of stuff that was going on. So I thought, okay, well, that might be that. So, I mean, I always made excuses for all the things that I was experiencing. I had the fatigue. I had not so much, well, yeah, perhaps the bladder. There again, I probably chalked that up. I felt like I was permanently pregnant is what I said. What else? I was diagnosed with IBS, so I contributed that issue to irritable bowel syndrome, which is the baby version, I guess, of Crohn's and colitis and all of that stuff. So I figured I had just food sensitivities, and that I wasn't listening to. So I blame myself for that. Pretty much anything that a MS patient would deal with, I was dealing with, except for the legs. Now, as soon as that started really rearing its ugly head is what I would call it, that's when I really started putting the pressure on it and figuring, okay, there really is something wrong here.
Were you giving any medication?
I've been on absolutely everything. I have been on lots of steroids. I've been on both versions of Rebif. I've been on betaseron. I've been on mitoxantrone, which is a chemotherapy, and none of that worked for me.
Hmm. And how did you hear about LDN?
How did I hear about LDN? Actually, through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at it, and some people were swearing by it, and so I thought, well, you know what? Nothing else has worked, so let's give this a shot. And I swear by it now.
How long have you been taking it?
I've been taking it since July of
Okay.
2010.
Did your own doctor prescribe it for you?
Yes, under my my asking him.
Mm-hmm. Was it easy to get the prescription filled?
He is a forward-thinking doctor, so it was very easy for me to get from him.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard many people who have had very hard issues and hard times getting that prescription.
Mm-hmm. What about filling the prescription?
You have to go to a compounding pharmacy, and I did not know that. So I had to do a little bit of research, and I found a compounding pharmacy, and as soon as I did that, it was fine.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice any initial side effects?
The only thing I noticed was more vivid dreams,
mm-hmm.
which went hand in hand, which is what I was afraid of, because I did some research on the internet, because I thought, I'm not putting something else into my body without, checking this out first anymore. I'm sick and tired of that.
Mm.
So I checked into it and said more vivid dreams, and I thought, oh God, does that mean scary dreams? No, it doesn't necessarily mean scary dreams. It's just more vivid periods. So if you're dreaming about a happy thing, you're just going to remember it more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same sort of a scenario. And the other thing I did notice, and this actually came from my actual doctor, he's like, have you noticed any side effects? And I'm like, well, not so much. And he's like, well, I've heard other people saying constipation may very well be an issue. So after he had said that, I was like, oh, actually, I think that actually is. So now just a handful of walnuts I take, and that just alleviates that.
Mm-hmm. Good. And how long did it take before you noticed some improvements?
Almost immediately. It helped with the spasticity at night. They keep trying to sell all sorts of medications on the TV all the time, but for the restless leg syndrome specifically, and it's just and not just muscle spasms in your legs, but I also had the muscle spasms in my bladder, and I was not aware of that. And that's what was causing me to have to go to the bathroom all the time. So I wasn't getting a restful night's sleep.
Mm.
So when I started the LDN, that stopped it, the bladder spasming. And so therefore I was able to actually sleep all night, as opposed to having to get up midnight, or 2 or 3 times a night to go to the bathroom.
Mm.
I was actually able to get a full night's sleep.
Good. Did you notice anything else?
Not so far. I'm waiting and with anticipation. I've only been on it, like I said, since July. So.
Right. Yes. And how did it impact on you being diagnosed with MS?
It didn't impact on it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an added benefit. At least it's a positive thing, as opposed to everything else that has been absolutely kind of a pain in the tush.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to other people who are contemplating trying LDN?
Well, I would say it works for probably there are a lot of people that does not work for. So give it a shot and try it. It's not expensive. Make sure that you go very low and you go slow. You start at a small amount and you work your way into it. You do not just immediately go for the full bang. Otherwise, you will go into muscle spasm galore. So it's a gentle ease into it. And I think it's absolutely worth. I recommend it to absolutely everybody to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and this is not something that can hurt you. And there are no major, long-lasting side effects. It's a very gentle thing on your system, and you know what? I mean, they say that it helps your nerves to recover and whatnot. In the long run, I'm waiting to see if that will work for me. But like I said, I haven't been on it super long enough time to really notice that.
Mm.
So I'm sure, and I'm fingers crossed, it will be something that I will, see in the future.
Yes. Would you say that it's helped improve your quality of life?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the sleep deprivation makes for crazy making, is what I call it. And I'm getting a full, proper night's sleep now.
Mm.
So even if that is just the one thing that it helps me out with, I think that gives it a 100% in my book.
Well, thank you very much for sharing the story with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
Right.